Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So we are back doing our monthly roundup, looking at the most popular blockchain games in terms of their on-chain activity. As ever, taking the data from DappRadar. So this is raw DappRadar data that I am just putting into graphs. Okay, so let's see what we got. This has not really changed for the last couple of months, as you can see. So we're actually starting here in January 2023, going all the way through to January 24. So 13 months worth of data here. As ever, I break these down into sort of different charts. So there's 3 charts to look at this month. But these are the most popular blockchain games in terms of that on-chain activity measured vertically by the daily active unique wallets. So this is the number of wallets interacting with the smart contracts that make up these games. Have to be a little bit sort of careful and think about sometimes what those smart contracts are, and also we have to obviously be aware that wallets are not users. A user might have 1 wallet, might have 10 wallets, might be a bot farm with 10,000 wallets. So we bear that in mind, but obviously this is just gives us some trends of what's going on here. So the big trend that we saw last year was in blue here, Alien Worlds, and in red, Splinterlands, which were the most popular blockchain games, had been for a large number of months, years even. In 2023 they saw quite a heavy decline, and then in November we saw Pixels, which was or is, I should say, a sort of social RPG browser-based game. It was on the Polygon blockchain, had a sort of fairly small amount of users, 5 to 10,000 daily active unique wallets, and then launched on the Ronin blockchain. So we're just looking at the Ronin activity here in yellow, and we can see it launched, had a bit of a snafu. I don't know if that's a data snafu from DappRadar, or whether that was a day where they were messing around with smart contracts and changing them. You can see there is some sort of volatility here, but basically has had a fairly strong rise. Initially up to over 100,000 daily active unique wallets, and then continuing upwards, and then they've just finished now a 2-week what they call play to airdrop campaign. So if you were playing that, you could have got on the leaderboards, and I think it was top 7,000 people, or there was some 7,000 wallets anyway that were going to get some of this new Pixel token coming out. So we can see here a strong growth curve over the last 3 months. It has gone down a little bit, which I guess we would have expected with the end of the play to airdrop campaign. Probably me and most other people expected to come down quite a lot, but we're still here up about 170,000 daily active unique wallets. So it's people playing Pixels, the game. So it's basically has a sort of farming mechanic. There's a whole bunch of stuff they're sort of reworking. They're actually quite into play to earn as a concept. So the idea is you play the game and you earn some tokens. In this case, it'll be the Pixel token, which is not live yet, so it's sort of hard to judge exactly what will happen when this token goes live. I expect we will see probably quite strong growth up, but as ever, we sometimes see it depends on the price of the token and things around that. So they're very aware, obviously, of what Axie Infinity has experienced in the past, running on the Ronin blockchain. So we'll see what lessons they take from that. But at the moment, we see sort of these 2 older games, Alien Worlds and Splinterlands, sort of struggling with growth and actually sort of declining. Their token price, so they have had tokens out for a long time. Token price is recovered a little bit, but still fairly low from what it has been historically. Pixel's obviously a new game, launching a new token that can drive a lot of momentum, and we're continuing to see that. So Pixels remains the most popular blockchain game, as it has been really since it launched. Okay, let's move on to the second graph. The second graph, I'm calling these most popular blockchain games. So if we look back here, the axes here is in hundreds of thousands. The axes here is in tens of thousands. So 30,000 is the maximum here. So these are, almost like a factor of 10. So we have somewhat sort of similar, I guess, to some degree. We have some games that have been around for a while, sort of launching. So Upland is this sort of you always call it a Monopoly style game. It's actually a bit more like a metaverse now. So play it on browser, play it mainly on mobile. I think they're trying to decentralize it more, have some launching a token on Ethereum. But very steady. So 20,000, 25,000, peaking up to maybe 27,000. It's a really solid sort of a player base, but hasn't really grown, even in this sort of bull market we're seeing emerging. So potentially that's because it doesn't really sort of have NFTs in the same way as other games, doesn't really have tokens in the same way as NFTs. It's sort of somewhat closed, but they're trying to change that. So we'll see with Upland. And I think in general there's a problem. There is a challenge for games that have been out for a while and have had tokens out for a while and NFTs out for a while. How do you reinvigorate your audience and get new communities involved in your game, as Pixels has done very successfully? Because people sort of come to games that are new and tokens that are coming out, and there's excitement, and obviously people think they're going to make money from that. It's quite hard for existing games to leverage those levers in the same way. Obviously, one that's sort of gone through that experience here in green is Axie Infinity. So Axie Infinity has actually grown. It's actually sort of getting on for sort of doubling, or at least up 50% on the year, but nothing like it sort of was before. So at the Sky Mavis dev team are spending a lot of time building out these new sort of more like esports tournament eras, they call them. So there's quite a lot of tokens that are giving away. So hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tokens are giving away for people to play these. But it's sort of it's re-engaging its sort of core audience, but nothing like when we had 1 million, 3 million, no, 2.6, 2.3, I can't remember, something like that. That was the peak we had of Axie at the end of 2021, so over 2 years ago now. But it's still growing. So, in general, we're seeing that because of the reinvigoration of the Ronin blockchain, partly through Pixels. I've also put in Aperon. So Aperon is a game running on the running on the Ronin blockchain. Sort of. So what we're seeing here at the moment is that the game is sort of out in a sort of demo stage. You can download it's a PC game, download it from the Epic Game Store, and it's quite a complex sort of hybrid game. So there's like a god game version of it where you're sort of a god looking after planets, and then you can go down to the planets and you can play sort of dungeon missions, dungeon crawling missions in there. So that's sort of the game. That gameplay demo is sort of out now, so people can download that and play that. That's not attached to the blockchain. So what we're seeing here is sort of more like a sort of people doing tasks, sort of on-chain tasks to gain tokens. So they're putting out their token. The Aperon token is called Amia. I think I get that right. It's not out yet, but people are basically doing things to sort of. Again, it's sort of like it's not playing the game to get the airdrop, but they're sort of fulfilling tasks to get the airdrop. So they're sort of doing things, and they're not playing the game. So this is not game activity we're measuring here, but I put it in here just to sort of to show again the sort of velocity you can get around these sort of activities. Particularly Aperon is on Ronin, so there's Axie Infinity is on Ronin. Pixels is on Ronin, and you can see how that sort of more people are on Ronin now, so more people are also doing these things on new games like Aperon. So it's still under 20,000, but almost now bigger than Axie. And I also put in here Gas Hero. So Gas Hero has sort of driven a reasonable amount of headlines. So it's from Find Satoshi Lab, the people behind Steppen. And it's on the Polygon blockchain. We've not seen a lot on Polygon recently, and it's actually sort of, in a sense, done fairly well. Straight up to 5,000, gone a bit over 5,000. The problem with this game, not the problem, but the way they've designed it is it's NFT gated, so you have to actually spend hundreds of dollars to buy various NFTs to even play this game. The reason people are playing it is because they got the NFTs cheap. Obviously, they were part of the Steppen ecosystem, and they bought these NFTs cheap when they were released end of last year. And there's quite a lot of the GMT token being given away, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of that being given away. So there's a sort of play to earn mechanic going on here. Not very clear to me that they're going to go free to play and actually get a lot more people in. It's just an interesting game. There's sort of permadeath and this sort of stuff in there, but at the moment they're just sort of engaging their core audience. So which is where they got 5,000, which is not, in the big scheme of things. I mean, that's a good sort of good starting point, but obviously you're not up to tens of thousands of people, even like Axie Infinity, let alone hundreds of thousands like Pixels. So Pixels is free to play, should point out. So there we go. So that's an idea of sort of what's going on with the less most popular games. Final Graph, called sort of slightly cheekily called the random January activity. So this is just sort of showing. This is just for January, clearly. Again, some quite big sort of products here. These are not classic games, I would say, or the activity is not around actual gameplay at the moment. So Sweatcoin here in orange is a move to earn game. So you basically, it's a mobile game. You walk around and you collect these coins. Some of them are sort of off-chain assets and some of them are on-chain assets. You can sort of do things with them. You can stake them, which is sort of, I guess, a bit DeFi-y. There's not really a lot of utility at the moment, but they're sort of, in a sense, they're sort of in this process of giving away these coins and then maybe working out a little bit how that, what people can do with those coins. You don't earn a lot of money by doing it. It's sort of, obviously a lot of this stuff is sort of capped. The activity is capped. So you can't just sort of run a marathon and earn hundreds of dollars of coins. You're sort of capped to cents really a day. But it's been fairly it's going down a little bit, but fairly steady. 120, 130,000. We have this Starry Nift, which is sort of fairly random thing here on the BNB chain, which can have quite random things on there. So again, it sort of shows the activity where you can if you set it up right, you can drive 150,000 daily active unique wallets, but presumably there's quite a lot of bots in there and they're not playing a game. They're sort of doing gamey type stuff, but I put it in there just to sort of show the activity. We'll see obviously over time if it can sustain any of that sort of stuff. Similar thing here, the sort of Uliverse, which is a sort of anime type platform, and it was doing a giveaway, and basically the giveaway stopped and the activity went down to 0, and then they started something else. And I'm not saying these are scams in any way, but these are just, they're using crypto sort of marketing virality to drive activity to do various things. The question always in this case, as we saw with Axie Infinity back in the day, is you can drive a lot of activity into your product, but can you sustain it? And obviously games, when games are really good, they sustain audiences. So we'll wait to see here. Play Ember again. It is a sort of a hyper casual sort of platform really of games. They've just done some NFT drops and I think doing some stuff with tokens. So we'll sort of wait and see what happens here. But over 50,000 daily active unique wallets, give or take. And AnyChess is a chess game from Animoca Brands. With some proper chess people in there, Magnus Carlsen notably, and they've just started their sort of token giveaway or sort of like a campaign. So they're 50,000 daily active unique wallets over the last couple of days. So these I would not classify as sort of pure games in the sense that we've looked at the other games. I would say are more what we would understand to have sort of traditional gameplay loops plus blockchain elements. These are more sort of blockchain-y. Viral sort of products, really, I would say. But it's always worth keeping an eye on some of these because some of these, over time will sustain their audiences, and some of these, AnyChess will be a proper game. It's not out yet, so we like to keep an eye on those as well. So so as ever, for the last sort of 2 months, Pixels is the big news. More generally, the headline is the Ronin blockchain is starting to be seen as the place where there's lots of gaming activity, and other games being launched on there. We expect a whole bunch more games to be launching as in the coming months, and we'll start to see, I guess, if those network effects really hold out. One, if Pixels can continue to grow, and two, if Ronin as a blockchain starts to be sort of the place where everyone's trying to launch their games. Keep an eye on that, obviously, in the coming months. Please subscribe to the channel. See you again soon.